Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. My beautiful, beautiful souls. Welcome to the weekly intuitive card reading for the 15th through 21st of January. You guys know the drill. Please like this video. Please share it with anybody that may need to hear these messages and the energy of the week. Subscribe to this channel, please. Thank you for my current subscribers. This channel is growing, so anybody new, welcome. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, any feedback, comments, concerns down below. You guys know I read all the comments, so love the interaction piece. So, all right, guys, that's all I'm going to talk about. Let's just jump right in. All right, what do we need this week? Truth be told. Okay, so truth be told is always about authenticity, speaking our truth. Being more truthful to ourselves in general. So we definitely need that, guys. And so what I'm getting here is this almost unintentional type feeling. So it might be, of course, this is something to strive for all the time, but we also live on earth where we're in situations where we can't necessarily always be ourselves for survival reasons because, for example, we need to work a job and maybe we don't feel like we fit in, or could be, completely honest with ourselves, or, honest with the authentic, honest and authentic and transparent with the people we work with, that kind of thing. So I get it, earth problems, right? So it's okay. Spirit is saying it's okay, but it's definitely getting to a boiling point. It's definitely getting to a point where we're kind of annoyed about it. And it definitely feels like the tides are shifting with this. So any small places that you can sneak in your authentic self or be more truthful, it will definitely serve you this week. But let's see what action needed says. Okay, love this. We have Magic Guardian, Unlock the Magic Within. This is our power card, especially from that deck. I think there's only a couple of them in the deck, but we have the Magic Guardian, so voila. So this is a power card. So guys, don't forget, we're in the year of the 8, universal year 8. 8 is linked to prosperity, to abundance, to manifestation, and to empowerment. So being right next to the truth be told, like I said, we are getting to a boiling point, but we are shifting, okay? We are moving, we are transforming, we are passing that line, we're moving past that line, right? Where we're getting to a point where it's, again, like a boiling point where we really need to be more in our power, really shift and even out and balance out the power dynamics wherever we are. I gave an example of a work example, but it could also be personal as well. So any type of relationships that you have to anything really, is going to start evening itself out because you are stepping up and talking about your power, and it's really, really needed. And this week is a really influential week that really goes along with that, where things are, because it's under the action needed, which is a little bit more tangible. It means that we're actually doing it, right? There's things in our life that we're actually doing that are bringing us that more power and making us feel more empowered. Companion. But we have it in the shadow. Betrayal by misusing confidence is loss of personal identity. Okay, so loss of personal identity jumps out. So it's just exactly what I was saying, okay, about these past two cards, is that we feel like we're losing ourselves, right? People say, what's the alternative to not being authentic? It's your loss of personal identity, right? It says it right there. The fact that it came in under companion, to me, feels like we're like a people-pleasing type energy. Like it's to other people. It's not being authentic to savor and salvage the relationship that we have, to fit in, to please other people, to make sure that we don't upset the tribe, things like that. So it's saying that and I will say this is a little specific, but we are reading for the collective, so maybe take what resonates and leave the rest. But it's almost like people that are very, very close to you, personally. I know I gave a work reference before, but personally, we may feel like we are not necessarily being our full selves. Even in the past, when we have been that way with a particular person, it's feeling like we're not so sure we can be our authentic selves anymore around a particular person. So I'm actually very interested to see what comes up in this corner with friends, romantic connection, all that stuff. But it definitely does feel like, we're losing ourselves a little bit by being in some of these connections. And it's not losing ourselves, but also just like, I wouldn't be surprised this week if there's like a little bit of an identity crisis kind of going on with us, because we're kind of like, okay, where do I fit in now, right? We've had this big transformation over the last 3 years, starting from 2020. Okay, we've had these really crazy years where we've been in the limbo for a while last year, where we were in between our old life and our new life, and yeah, that was confusing. But now we're kind of ready and moving into this new life, and we're saying, okay, now who am I moving into this new life, right? And so we want to be more authentic, and by the way, that could kind of change, right? Your truth can change over time, right? Because it's not there's two different truths, right? There's universal truth, and then there's personal truth. So your personal truth can change as you evolve, as you learn more about yourself, as you dive deeper, do your shadow work, do your soul work, that kind of thing. So you change, okay? And so I'm really feeling this type of identity crisis a little bit. Okay, maybe crisis is a little strong, but I'm definitely feeling that. So let's move on to see if we have any more hints. The first three cards is pretty much in your face, saying like this is kind of what it's all about. But let's see what else we come up with. Okay, challenge. We have purification. Okay, purification is really about starting fresh, starting new, like I was just saying. Trying to start with a clean slate, trying to start with, not a lot of people knowing your past, just trying to, there's nothing else I can say besides clean slate. So I definitely feel like, okay, guys, that's 4 cards in a row, really talking about this, trying to move forward more authentically, in your power, in your truth, starting fresh, and we're having a challenge doing so. So it definitely does feel like that's the dominant energy of the week for sure. But something tells me, because we have that power card in there where it exuberates power, I have faith in us. Okay, so let's keep moving on to see let's see what's going to change, right? Go the distance. Exactly. Go the distance is about not giving up, going the distance, keep going even though it's hard. So like I said, I believe in you guys, and so does the cards. And the universe and all of our guides, okay? So we have the power to change if we just keep going. Don't give up, okay? It might be hard. You might not be fitting in this week. You might be having an identity crisis a little bit, that kind of thing. That's okay. You guys are right on track with the rest of the collective, okay? The only way that you can, quote unquote, mess this up, okay? Hope you guys see my quotations here, is to pretend it's not happening and try to go back to the way that things were. Okay, you have to keep going, so don't give up, okay? That's what that's about. I love that go the distance card. Okay, what do we need to focus on besides pretty much everything I just said? Focus, shapeshifter, transform and unveil your gifts. Okay, highlighting here on your other skills, about your adaptability, about flexibility. Makes sense with all of this, internal conflict kind of happening, but definitely this is about being flexible, basically. So focus on where you can be flexible. So if there are things in your life this week where they feel like if there's an issue of some kind, or a dilemma of some kind, you have the power to be flexible and adaptable. So I think you'll see that. I think it's a natural skill. I say it a lot because it's basically like it's really like an innate thing from your soul, because your soul is here to evolve. So in order to evolve, we have to be adaptable and we have to be flexible. So it's really kind of honestly like tapping into your soul and being able to shift kind of at any moment. So this is really kind of like focusing on the other things that you're good at, or where you can shift to fit things in your life. So definitely, if you guys are more by the books type people, this week you're going to see a lot of, being a little bit more adaptable, flexible, and having more creative ideas around that, right? Because if you're somebody that not only wants to follow the rules and be by the book and like routine and things like that, some of you out there, and I've gotten this before when I do personal readings, is you can't necessarily think of the opportunities, or you can't even think of the options, or you can't even think about how you can be flexible. That creative piece, I feel intuitively, is going to kind of change this week. So pay attention to those things, and for those that feel like you're not adaptable, flexible, or creative with that definitely changes this week for sure. Okay, what do we reflect on? We have priest, facilitates spiritual commitment, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Okay, so one of the, they're all technically spiritual cards, but the priest is always an interesting archetype because it's really just, how do I say this? What's the right term? Serves God, serves spirit, serves divine, serves creator, whatever you want to say. So it's not necessarily, yes, always keep up with your spiritual practices. There will never be a time where I say that's not a good idea and spirit says that's not a good idea. Like, it is always a positive idea to keep your connection with something bigger than yourself. Always, always, always. Those cards come through just for reminders, but that really should be something in the background. But basically this is kind of saying maybe look at more of like where your how do I say this? In which ways that you're actually, because it's funny, I know this is under reflect, but it almost feels like, where are we, like you say that you serve a higher power, but in what ways are you kind of doing that? And so there's always great journal questions that kind of come out of the focus and reflect, but that's maybe something that you guys could reflect on this week that would serve you in some type of way, is how you are serving to a higher power. Maybe if you break that down, how are you, sorry guys if you hear an ambulance, by the way, I live in New York City, I'm sorry about that. How could you be kind? How could you be of service? And I know it's priest and not necessarily martyr or Samaritan, which is more of the those type of archetypes, but it's close. But this is more like on a maybe more spiritual level. So this is specifically speaking to you guys out there who maybe have like a spiritual business, or I know that's really specific, but this is the collective, so this is a lot of people that this is encompassing. I can't speak, that it is covering, let's just say. But it's just something to think about, basically. All right, let's move on from that. I think you guys kind of understand that. Responsibilities, you can do it. Okay, so what did I say? Go the distance. It's basically saying you can do it, you can move forward. Archangel Michael, hello. Guys, maybe next week I'll switch up the Ascended Masters cards with maybe a specific angel deck. I gotta think about which one, but Archangel Michael is making an appearance, so hey. I'm going off on a tangent, but you can do it. So basically it's helping you usher forward, right? You can do it, don't give up. Okay, we were just talking about that with the change. So this does tell me that all of this stuff up until that change card up there about the identity crisis, we'll just call it, you can do it, you can move forward. That's your main responsibility this week, okay? All right, not too much more to say about that. Let's see what money, finances, and you guys know I lump career in here. Time for a nap. Okay, not much happening, but this definitely says that you need a break, which is interesting because we got that accelerate card a few weeks back where things were moving a little bit more quickly. This actually might be because in the US at least, there's a holiday this week. This could also just be maybe we were working too fast and we went too hard and we just kind of need a break in general, but it's not necessarily, I wouldn't put the word hustle here this week. It's definitely not, I wouldn't put the word accelerate here this week, but it's I wouldn't say it's like a slower week, but we are definitely taking time to rest. I'll put it this way. It's not like we're not working. We're just taking the time out to rest. So if you are deciding on maybe going away this weekend, or maybe not taking the overtime or something like that. It definitely feels like it's in your favor and the energy is in your favor. So think about that. The money will be there when you get back. That's the most important thing, right? Okay, surprise. Trader exchange energy to create abundance. Okay, speaking of abundance, so surprise. Okay, so that is interesting because this is saying you'd be surprised at what you get for what you give. Okay, and so this means that, I mean, that makes perfect sense next to the non-hustle card, because it's more conditioning, I think, at least. So in America, if anybody's watching this from outside of America, we have this really, really unhealthy relationship to capitalism. Not saying it's bad, and I don't mean to get political, but not saying it's bad, but it's really this work mentality, right? And so I think that's a lot of the issues that people have with how the universe actually works, how manifestation actually works. And that's why like flow alignment is like such an issue, and why I actually talk about it a lot, because I have realized, especially in the last 2.5 years, like I have an unhealthy, there's some certain parts of an unhealthy relationship to capitalism. Okay, anyway, so the surprise here is the barter system, right? It's such an old system that was and maybe fluently used outside of the country, but you give something, you get something. Okay, so this is what it's saying about you can still get abundance by doing it this way. Okay, so, and by the way, it could be something like if you did something for somebody 6 months ago, somebody is repaying the favor this week, that kind of thing. So you get abundance not by hustling, not by accelerating forward in full force, but you do get something because you've given something. Okay, so it's the old school barter system of give and take. Okay, so you and in spiritual terms, energetic terms, is basically saying whatever you put out, you get back. Okay, so, and the fact that it's under surprise tells me it could be from a long time ago, and not something that that wasn't the intention, right? You just gave, right? And now you receive. Okay, and so it might be and I have to say, guys, because it's right next to money and finance, I know surprise always is, but it definitely feels linked. It's like it could be and the card says abundance, and usually we think of in the barter system as like tangible things, that kind of thing. Is finances, finance, money, that kind of thing. So, take a nap, take your rest, because you still get what you need. Your basic financial needs get met, because of this barter system, because something kind of comes back to you, and sometimes it comes back to you tenfold. Okay, so so that's the surprise. That it's and let me just say this too. I am not against capitalism. I'm actually not against the word hustle. Like, I think a lot of people, some people will think differently, and you guys out there in the collective will have your own opinions and that kind of thing. And let me know down below. I always love to have like conversations like this, and I want to see where you guys are coming from with this. But I don't necessarily see hustle as a bad thing, but I do see it's appropriate sometimes, and you're not supposed to be chronically in that mode, right? And so don't forget, the universe is built on balance. That's what it is, because this system is more about balance, right? This one is more heavily on the masculine, right? So it again, masculine doesn't equal bad, though. That's what I'm saying. So if you do have to hustle, you're just more in your masculine, but you're not supposed to be in it 24/7, 365 days a year, until the day that you pass on, your body, passes on this earth, kind of situation. So I think it's going to be very interesting rocking of the boat and switching of the way that you think, whether you think, on the more of the anti-capitalism way or the more capitalism way. I think it'll be like a shift. And honestly, if you think about it, it's kind of like about power dynamics, which I was saying up here with the action needed is this, becoming more empowered. So there's something here about it switching. Okay, I don't want to get too much more into it. I think I'm confusing you guys more, but let's keep it simple. You don't have to hustle this week, and your basic needs get met in the money, finances, and career department. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what friends say, because like I said, that card up there with the issue with the companion, I want to see what comes up. Okay, we actually do have the Samaritan card. I mentioned it when I talked about the priest, but we have it in shadow, exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. Guys, I cannot speak today. Exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. Okay, so we've all heard about the Good Samaritan, but what about the Bad Samaritan? But it's not exactly like that in the shadow. It's basically saying not feeling appreciated and not feeling like you're being recognized for what you're doing, basically. So I will say that does somewhat align with what I said up there about, potentially the loss of identity within like the people pleasing. So it definitely does feel like, because it's the same thing with the martyr. Some people think, you hear like, oh, somebody's playing the martyr, but the martyr can be in the light and can be in the positive, and it is more, it's very similar to the Samaritan. So but when these archetypes are in the negative, it's like we're doing something to please somebody else, or we're doing something just for the intention of getting something back. Very different though than the traitor, because the traitor is really just an equal, equality is there, and it's more so neutral. This is more so of actually, like, there's a little bit more of a manipulation thing happening, because we are doing something, expecting something back, and we're not getting it back, right? And so definitely our people-pleasing habits and that type of scenarios, those types of scenarios that maybe we were, let's just put it this way, guys. I'm just going to say this because I'm always truthful with you guys, and I should probably say that in the very beginning. I'm not somebody that tries to sugarcoat these cards, and not everything is sunshine, rainbows and unicorns, although I wish it was. And I do run optimistically positive. But this is saying, if you are, and think about it from a subconscious level, okay? If we're being friends with somebody because we're, and maybe not just friends, because friends doesn't have to immediately mean our friend group. It could just mean acquaintances or people around us in general. If we're doing something to try to get something from someone, or subconsciously expect something, that's a no-no, okay? That's what Spirit is saying, because all of that stuff, because it's inauthentic, right? Because it builds an inauthentic bond, okay? So anything, as we mentioned from the very beginning, we are craving more authentic relationships. We're craving more truth. And again, this companion tells us that we're losing ourselves in these relationships, trying to keep up these connections, trying to keep up these almost false contracts that we kind of have with these people, like unspoken contracts. Is kind of a better way to say it. So it definitely does feel like it comes to a head a little bit, and definitely this stuff is rising to the surface this week, okay? So any kind of inauthentic bond or connection that we have with somebody, the truth is going to start kind of coming out, and our people-pleasing tendencies are definitely going to have to be faced and worked on, and any kind of underlying, again, could very well be subconscious manipulation of any kind, especially even done to you, will come to the surface. Like, it will appear this week, okay? So it's pretty clear with those two archetypes going on here. So just as I suspected. So let's see what romantic connection says here. And that is flow of prosperity. Okay, so it looks like it is more acquaintances, people around you, like on a personal level. But if we do a one-up and do romantic connections, and we kind of break it down that way, flow of prosperity, it feels like things are flowing, number one, and things are prosperous, which means abundance, essentially, right? So if you're single, for my single people out there, definitely lots of suitors, lots of opportunities to meet people, things like that. And then if we're actually connected with somebody, things are going really well. For everybody out there in a power couple, more power to you guys, because the power is accelerated this week. Definitely feels like if you guys own a business together, for example, very lucrative this week, a good financial week, that kind of thing. So that was a little bit of a specific example, but you guys can apply it how you see it, and how it fits into your life. Okay. What's important? A lot of things are important. Okay, clean it up. What's important is finishing up things that you've started. No procrastination this week. Basically, Spirit is saying that, saying, things that you haven't closed up, close them up, okay? Because, trying to move on. Don't forget about those things. I know it's not under responsibilities, but it's still important that you do these things. It feels more tangible, okay? When I say tangible, I mean it's actual physical items that you can touch, feel, that kind of thing. So, if you're doing home improvements of your house, try to finish those up, and just try to, as I say, cross your T's, dot your I's, make sure everything is kind of closed up. I have 2 more cards left, but something tells me, and obviously I'll see you for the weekly reading next week, that, I wouldn't be surprised if we have more new life cards or more new energy. We did have the purification up here, but this is kind of the before thing. Like you energetically want to, start on a clean slate, but you're having an issue doing that. But like I said, I feel like next week we'll have like a lot of like more like new life type cards, new energy. That's why this is coming in. This doesn't have a 9 on the card, but it definitely exudes 9 energy. Okay, so 9 energy is about ending, closing things up. Okay, so just finish things that you started. No procrastination this week. Kick it in the butt, basically, is what Spirit is saying. Okay, health and wellness. We're almost at the end here. Winter, take care of your needs. All right, do we need a reminder here? Apparently we do. Guys, self-care. Take care of yourself. It's under the time for a nap, okay? No hustling, okay? Finish up what you started, okay? Take care of yourself emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever it actually is. Take care of yourself, okay? There's not too much more you could say. Take a pause, take the nap, take the vacation, take the rest. No. Say no to hustling, okay? Say no to hustling. That's all I could say. Okay, last one. Overall outcome. Dun, dun, dun. Detective. I've gotten this a few times, with some of your personal readings, guys. So we have great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. So this is about truth seeking. This is about being curious. This is about finding the truth, being very curious about it. But also too, it has that level of intuition, but also observation, which is more of a discernment. So, this is definitely a card about staying open, staying curious, and seeking out the truth. And I love that. So sometimes I circle right back, right? This one is also, it says truth on it, right? This one is also about the truth of who you are, personal truth, authentic truth, higher self, whatever you guys really want to call it, that vibration essentially. That's what we're talking about here. If you people are watching and saying, well, what is she talking about? The truth of who I am, who you really are. If you were to take off a mask, okay, who are you really? Who are you deep down from your soul, from the very epitome of your soul? Who are you and what are you about? Okay, and so you're really figuring that out. But here's the thing. This one is about, so I will say this. Okay, so this one is about, and I did mention this when I was reading the first row. You guys have to understand that it does evolve over time, okay? And this detective is kind of alluding to the fact that we are still seeking, okay? And that's okay because you're going to be a lifelong seeker, and that's good. You should always be the student of life, always learning and being open to new information, and things can change about what's the truth of what you desire, basically. Your desires can change, your opinions can change. Like, that's the other thing too, is like people attack other people because their opinions change, and they, like certain people have you have experiences in your life where your opinion can change, and your soul can evolve and your consciousness can shift. Like, that's kind of the whole point. Guys, ever see that meme where somebody says to someone, I forget exactly what the photo is, but they're like, you've changed, and the other person is like, isn't that the point? Absolutely right. It is the point. And so even though, like, from an authentic level, Maybe some of your values don't change. Maybe some of your virtues don't change. Who you truly are at the core, which is love, that doesn't change. But there are certain things, if you bring it to a grounded level, if you're here on earth, your opinions change, your views change, what you desire out of your earthly existence changes. So that's what this kind of alludes to. Okay, so this is really about this identity crisis kind of happening and us figuring out how we want to move forward with that clean slate over there with that purification. Okay, so the detective is kind of like, be curious, be open, during this time of this identity crisis, basically. So I love it. And who wouldn't change over the last 3 years? Just the collective trauma that we were all in with the pandemic. If you haven't changed in some way, shape, or form from that experience, if you haven't evolved from that experience or learned something from that experience, something is up, is all I have to say. Because it has changed us all from a fundamental level. I don't even know you guys, but I can tell you we have. There's not one single person that hasn't changed in some way, shape, or form from that collective trauma. So that's just an example, and it makes sense why this year is a little bit more of a shift from the last 3 years, meaning that the next 3 years are going to be trending upward, thank God. But it makes sense why our identity would be shifted, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I think you guys get it. I'm going to stop beating a dead horse. Thank you guys so much for listening to this reading. Any comments, questions, feedback down below. I would love to hear it. And have a wonderful week, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.